Hey everybody, this is Robo Rick here to do another fun code along. Thank you, Vincent Liu. I'm excited to finally be here at a decent hour so that you guys can enjoy my code along. Last time, basically, we worked on setting up a PostGres database table for our user. And then today what we're going to do is we're going to set it up both our front end and our back end so that a user could add a friend to add friends to the table. So I think the best place for us to start is the actual table itself. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to open up an SQL file. And then what I'm going to do from there is essentially I need to create let me pull up this other laptop here and get some music going. But basically what I need to do is I need to create a user requests table and then a user friends table. Let me just get this popping, folks. And I believe we now qualify to have a custom URL, so it's going to be a little bit easier. I like to have my laptop over here with the chats because I know there's a little bit of a delay. People watching at home might be a little weirded out, but I think it's a small price to pay to be beautiful. All right, so okay, we're monetized. What up? Steven Withnell and Vincent Lee. What's going on, guys? Okay, so basically we need to create a user request table. So this part's going to be relatively simple. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to create, I like to do uppercase, table. And then from there, what I need to do is I'm just going to call this user underscore friend underscore requests, right? So we have our friend request table. Very first thing I'm going to need to do is I'm going to give it an ID. I'm going to make this a serial. And then the next thing I'm going to need to add is the sender ID, which is going to be in just a second, I believe. Yep, this is an integer. Thank you so much, Dojo. I greatly appreciate that. This is going to be an integer, and it can't be null because it's going to be required. The sender ID and then the receiver ID, which is basically going to be the ID of the person who receives it. That is going to be an integer, not null. And then essentially this part should be golden. And then from here I'm going to do, there's a serial, integer not null, integer not null. I need to set the primary key, which at this stage is just going to be the ID. So basically the idea here is you thanks a lot, Joe. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, so oh, I don't want that. So basically let's create said table. Great, so now we have our receiver table. So basically when somebody approves that, oh wait, I'm gonna copy this. I needed to add a field for status. Status field was not added, so I just need to drop table user underscore friend underscore requests. Okay. Now I need to create that table again because there needs to be a status so that we know whether or not it's been approved already. So we're just going to give it a status. and this little guy is going to be a varchar. All right, so we got an integer, not null, varchar, create table. Oh, got to add a comma because technically it's just treating this like calling a function. Boom, we have that table. So if we refresh this, you will see that, wait, what? Yep, yeah, we now have user friend requests as a table. Now we need to create the user friend, which is basically just gonna keep track of the friend, and we'll add some date data in there just to be quirky. Okay, so then we're just gonna have another one that's user friends. And by the way, guys, this is all in PostGres. I am using PG admin in case you missed the last one. If the font is too small, let me know and I will fix it. Once again, this has an ID, which is a serial. Next thing we are going to do, let's indent that twice, I just have a feeling. Basically, serial is an auto-incrementing number within PostGres, guys, because we need every ID to be unique, and the easiest way to do that is just to have an auto-incrementer just go up through the database. So great question, Vincent. All right, perfect. Next thing, we are going to have the user ID, which is going to be an integer. Then we're going to have the friend ID, integer. And then we're going to have date underscore friended, which is the date they became friends. That's just going to be a date. Next up, we just need to set the primary key equal to ID. Okay, now let's just create that table. So user ID, friend ID, boom, 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 boom. All right, perfect. So let's execute that. All right, it has been executed. I refresh our database. Refresh it again. The fuck? Okay, as you guys can see, now we have user friends, right? All right, bye, Joe. Thank you for tuning in a little bit while you could, you a-hole. All right, this was a stream everybody's been requesting. Everybody's been whining about it. Everybody's been wanting to know how to use Node with Postgres. Okay, so we have our user friend request, user friends, user friend ID. Perfect. Okay. Next thing I am going to need to do is I'm going to close out my Postgres for right now. No. All right. Next up, we need to create some endpoints, and let me turn on some music. Would you guys like some music? I'm going to turn on a little house music to get me going. Just music I listen to while I play League of Legends, but they got some dope beats, so I like to play that.
Which you are you? Be the you who doesn't cover your moderate to severe plaque psoriasis.
And if you have plaque psoriasis, you should definitely click on that ad. Alright, let's just make sure the audio levels are good. Alright, perfect. Get some jams going. How have I been slacking? I've been doing it well for everything else. Alright, cool. Let's open this bitch up. Alright, perfect. We have all of this going. Next up, I'm simply... let's go to our server.js. Alright. Next up, I'm gonna want to do to just keep my code like really clean, because that's kind of important to me, is essentially, can you guys hear the music? I'm gonna go into my server, and I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm gonna call this guy routes. Okay, and then from there, what I'm going to want to do is do a new file, and I'm going to call this one user.js. And this is going to be different, guys, because I want this to do... My favorite champion in League right now is Nautilus. I also like Misfortune, and I also like... what's it called? Taric. Taric is pretty good. Alright, cool. So what I'm going to need to do is do var express is going to equal express, or require express. Alright, next up on the list, I'm going to need var router is going to equal express.router, open closing parentheses, because it's basically just going to give us a brand new router. And then from here, I'm just going to do router dot. Let's first give the user the capability to get their data, right? So let's say, hey, I'm a user, I want to get my data. Actually, no, because they get that when they log in. Scratch that, we don't need to do that. What we need to do is we need to give the user the ability to request a friend. So I'm going to do ability router.host, and I'm going to call this one /user/ when are you going to do this mean stack? You're stalling on that, by the way. Just kidding. I seriously can't wait for it, though. It's going to be amazing. Well, this isn't. I'm doing the Redux, so you guys can do it properly. MongoDB is not the best database for a social network. In fact, it's one of the shittiest things you can use for a social network. So that's why that was just a fuck around project, guys. This is the real deal. Okay, user/request friend. So now, when I request a friend, grab a function, recres. Then from here, I'm going to do module.exports. I'm going to set that equal to router. So this is when a user does a friend request. Oh, people come in and then they leave. Alright, cool. Then from here, what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to put one for routers. I'm going to do var secure user router. I'm going to set this equal to, what's up, guys? Yes, I went over the login part, but it's pretty cut and dry, man. You'll pick it up pretty quickly. I'll do require /server /routes /user, right? So this is the route that's gonna have like all the user functionality when I need that route to be secure. So then what I'm gonna do from there is I'm gonna do app.route or app.use. And then when somebody does /secure-API/user, then it's basically going to use that router. So then it's just going to use secure user router. From there, now I can go back into my routes and I can just do /friend request, and then it'll have that URL for us. That way we keep our code nice and clean, and we only put in the server file what we need. So that should be just fine. And then obviously we're going to need to authenticate the user being able to get into here. So one step at a time. First off, let's just make sure our router is using. So when they do this, I'm just going to do res.json, or actually res.send or status 200.send you are going to request a friend. This is the Redux, man. This is the Redux because I just want to do it anyways because you guys have been cool and I shouldn't hold information hostage just to get a couple extra subscribers. It's not cool. I'm just gonna put the information out there, and if my videos are good enough, then more of you guys will watch them and share them. If not, then at least I help a couple of you guys out in your careers or your coding endeavors. So yeah, so now that that is done, I need to open up a nice little command prompt. And then in my command prompt, I just need to do cd desktop. And then I believe we called this one cd social network Redux. I can just do node server. Okay. Assertion path missed module.require. Okay, let's see, server. Let's see, secure router. So if I do /server/routes user, that should work. Oh, there we go. Assertion missing path. User.js 1. Okay, so let's do user.js. Oh, it needs to be. I need to pass this in as a string. Hey, Sony Fail, what's going on, buddy? Today we're going over how to add them as friends. And by the way, guys, after this video I will be putting it on GitHub so you can get the code. So that part should be fine for you guys. So now that I have a path, I can, if you're on Windows, you can just do a quick CLS and then run npm start. And it works. Now I'm going to open up my Postman. So I believe it's localhost 3000 /API or secure API /user /request _friend. I'm gonna make this a post, send. Okay, and as you guys can see, you are going to request a friend. So congratulations, we have the first one down. Okay, and then so let's think of what we need to do, guys. So what we need to do is, first off, we're gonna need to notate this out, because even though it's a simple thing, it's gonna be simple. So the first thing we need to do is check to see if a request has already been sent, or if they are already friends. Now this is something we should do on the front end, but it's always good to just assume that your front end engineer is an asshole and will fuck everything up. I do a lot of front end work, so I'm allowed to make that joke. I'm allowed to make that joke. Okay. So what we need to do here is then we need to do var db, set that equal to require. All right, .. / we need to go outside, go to database /database. Okay, cool. And then the data that we need to have our user pass in is the user ID and then the friend ID. So basically who they want to friend. So then essentially we're gonna need to do the first check. So first thing we need to do is do a var query, and I'm going to set that equal to select all from user _ friend requests, and then I'm going to call this one fr for friend requests. yeah, and then do a join. Actually, nah, we're just gonna assume our front end guy did it properly, right? Select all from friend. Oh, because the friend request, yeah, we're gonna set a status, so we don't need to do a join on this one. My bad. For friend request, select all from user friend requests, where user, let's go back to our schema. This is why we do this. So friend request, because you have the sender ID and then you have the receive ID. So I should have written that a little cleaner. I'll fix this later, but sender ID. Actually, let's fix this right now. If we don't fix this now, it won't get fixed. I needed to have like an underscore between these two words, and I didn't put that there because it doesn't do camel casing. So yeah, I am just gonna recreate this. So let's do an SQL. I'm going to drop table user underscore friend underscore requests, execute. Then next thing I'm going to do is create table user underscore friend underscore requests. Alright, I'm going to run through this fast, guys. So we got ID, serial, then we got a we have the sender underscore ID, we have the received underscore ID, and that is going to be an integer, not null. Integer, not null. Status, varchar, and then the primary key is going to be the ID. Okay, so now we just need to recreate that table. It should be good. Yeah. Okay, so now we have that table, and it's and the casing for the naming structure is proper. So I'm going to do where sender underscore ID equals, and then this one, since it's an integer, does not need the single quote. I'm going to do plus rec dot body dot sender underscore ID plus and receiver underscore ID equals. I'm going to do plus rec.body.receiver. I believe that's what we named it. Or received ID. So basically the person who received the message. And then from there, basically I need to now execute that query. So I'm going to do db.query. So, and then I'm going to toss in, dump in the query, dot spread. And then what I need to do from there is I need to toss in an anonymous function. Then we're going to have the result and then the metadata in case you guys want to use it in the future. That's how Sequelize rolls. And then I'm assuming you guys want to write your own database or port data over, so you know Sequelize has its problems, so I just use it for its querying mechanisms. And then the next thing I want to do from there is I just want to record the result. That way we just see what data is coming back, and then obviously, like anything else, you need to do a dot catch. Toss in another function, error, and if it fails, we're just going to do res.status 500.send, and then we're just gonna send the error back to the user. Okay, so let's look through our users right now. And then basically I need to do users. And I just want to select all from users so we can pull some IDs together. So we got 3 and 4, so basically that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna pass that off as the data. Okay, so just a sec, guys. Thinking here. Alright, I need to minus this. So 3 and 4 is gonna be the data that we're gonna pass into the data initially. Okay, from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna run node server again. It works, you silly, silly goose. Alright, so now when we request a friend in our body, we need to have the sender underscore ID, which is gonna be 3, and then the received underscore ID, which is going to be 4 at this time, right? So let's send it. It runs that database, Sequelize, error. User friend request, that's correct because it's requests. So our naming was off, but that's okay, guys. That is why we run tests. So naming has to be perfecto since you guys are the ones writing your own stuff. Column undefined does not exist. Okay. So let's go back into it. So it's undefined, undefined. Oh, wait a minute. I think that's because we need to use the body parser. So I'm gonna do router.use. And then we need to go through this body parser thing again, I feel. So I basically do var body parser. And I need to set this equal to ship. And if you have modern or severe plaque psoriasis, you should check out those guys. Alright, cool. Then I need to just do require body parser. And then same old dog and pony show, boys. Body parser.json. And then router.use. Body parser dot URL encoded. Extended true. And I think that should do it. Oh. Wait a minute. Let's try it one more time this way. Yeah. Okay, we still need to restart this. Alright, cool. Send. No, it's still showing it as undefined. Oh. Because I haven't entered it into the body yet. Where did I put that thing? Oh, that's so weird, guys. Did I put it into this body? Nah, that's fine. Okay, so user key. Oh yeah, because we put it here and not here. So I'm gonna send it a sender ID, which we said was gonna be 3. A received ID, which is going to be 4. I send it. Error. Error, missing column. What column is missing? Receiver ID. Oh. Because it's not receiver ID, it is the received ID. That is received ID. So once again, RoboRick has fucked it all up. So now when we hit it, we get a result that has nothing. So that is perfect. So we basically now know that, hey, if this doesn't work, then we're going to run an additional function, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say if results.length equals 0, which means, hey, it doesn't exist. No one's made a request yet. Then what I am gonna do from there is I'm essentially just going to run another function. So what we don't want to do, guys, is we don't want to get caught in what's called callback hell. So the way what we're gonna do is we're gonna create another function down here, and then this is going to be our insert. So function insert request is just basically going to be another query. So I'm going to do var query, and I'm going to set that equal to insert into user friend requests. And then basically we're going to enter in the sender ID, the received ID, and then obviously the status. So basically we're going to say, hey, look, it's pending. It's a pending status right now. Then from there, what I'm going to need to do is go values. And then the first one is going to be the sender ID, which is going to basically just be a integer, so we don't need to add a string. So same dog and pony show plus rec.body.sender_ID, and then add. Then I'm gonna do comma. Probably, yeah. Do the received _ID, and yes, guys, it does have to be in perfect order. I'm going to do rec.body.received_ID. Then I'm going to need to add another string, comma, and then I'm going to have status. And this one doesn't need to add anything else other than pending. Right? So essentially that should be all good in the hood for right now. Sorry guys, I'm just jamming out right now. Some good music. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Alright, cool. So then basically from this callback, so then when it runs, we're just going to need to do insert request. Alright, cool. And then from here, we need to do the same thing. So db.query, do query dot, or just query. And then from there, what I am going to want to do is do dot spread function, do a res, fuck me, it is going to be results, comma, metadata. And that part, honestly, guys, doesn't even matter. So basically, it's either going to send or it's not going to send. From that point on, what it needs to do from there is if there's an error, I need to hear about the error. So I'm going to do res.status 500 dot send error, which we're going to have as a parameter here. If this works, I'm just going to do res.status 200 dot send friend request created successfully. That's what I love about Node, guys, compared to like something like Ruby. There is no magic here. There's nothing that's done for me. Basically, I have to do it all myself, which is good because I know every single thing about the servers we write with Node, it's basically like we know everything about it. So if something breaks, it's up to us to do proper error handling and all that. That's why I just fucking love this shit, guys. Fucking yeah. Sorry, it's pretty awesome. I enjoy it. So basically, that is it on that front. So basically, let's reset it and let's give it another shot. So I'm gonna close that window, or actually I need to quit Skype, save up some juice. Aw, people are leaving. Ah, fuck them. Okay, so essentially now that we have a router to send a friend request, then we're gonna need one that's basically designed to accept it, right? So then this part is good. Yeah, this part should be fine. Yeah, let's just reset the server and start it all up again. Alright, cool. Where I hit the magical send button. Syntax error. Oh, it needs to be in parenthesis. I know what I did wrong. Need to wrap it in parentheses, guys. Column sender ID does not exist. Column sender ID does not exist. Yeah, it does. Hold on, let's go back into this guy. Let's go back into our tables. Let's see. Clearly, sender ID, received ID, so that part should be fine. There's a column named sender ID in table view, but it cannot be referenced from this part of the query. Let's see. Let me see how I wrote the other ones. If I lose you guys, I lose you guys. I don't give a fuck. Alright, Oh, I know what I did wrong. You don't actually have to put... I'm a fucking idiot. Oh yeah, so I don't need to do all this. I just need to simply put in said values. Yep, I don't need to do any of this. Yep, there's no need to do the equal signs on there. That's where I screwed the pooch. Alright, it works, you silly goose. Alright, send. Boom! Friend request was created successfully. Let's just make sure that I am not bullshitting you guys. No. Boom. So I'm going to select all from user underscore friend underscore requests. Alright, I'm going to push play. So we have the sender ID, the received ID, and then the status, which is pending. Yes, I was confusing it with another database syntax. That is correct. I do that from some time to time, guys. So just so you know, guys, I do Node, Golang, PHP, some Java, some fucking React Native. I do a lot of fucking languages. There's a lot of databases from Neo4j, MySQL, MongoDB, a bunch of shit in my head. So from time to time, I will fuck up, and that is completely my bad. My bad, my bad, talking about my bad. Okay, cool. So then basically, the next thing we are going to want to do is confirm or decline the friend request. And then basically if someone says, I don't want to be friends with you, then hey, guess what, buddy? They never want to be friends with you. And it's over. Or actually, no, if they decline it, we'll just delete it, and then if it's confirmed, it's confirmed. How about that? That way, you know, people change down the road, so I think that's a good design. Okay, now we need to give the user the power to confirm it. Then we need to, after that, we're gonna verify their JWT token is correct. So next thing I'm gonna wanna do is router.post / let's see, update. No, it wouldn't be an update friend request. It's gonna be, I'm trying to think of a good naming convention here because alright, cool, no worries, dude. Spartex, what up, buddy? How you doing? Basically what spread does is it basically puts your result into one array and then your metadata into another. If you just have .catch, then you have to do that by yourself. So .spread just separates the metadata. Spartex, what up? I'm gonna say respond request friend respond is what I'll call this one, and then function rec res. Okay, perfect. So much like last time, we need to just see if this friend request is valid. Then if it is valid, then we need to do 2 inserts for the friend. That way it just becomes easier over time and our code becomes a lot less messy. Okay, so from here what I am going to want to do is take a quick little break. And then first thing is check to see if the request even exists. And the simplest way to do that is we're just going to tell our front-end engineer to send us the ID of the request, right? So I'm going to do query, and I'm going to set this equal to select all from user underscore friend underscore requests where ID equals, and then I'm gonna say plus rec dot body dot request underscore ID, right? So we're just gonna send us the request ID as a field back, and then I'm gonna need to use our database to query it. I'm gonna do .spread result metadata, or pass in an anonymous function. And then from there, I'm gonna wrap this in an if statement. So then I'm gonna do if result.length is greater than 0. So basically just checking to make sure if this thing even exists. Then I am going to update accordingly. else, we're just going to do res.status 400, and then I'm going to do .send request doesn't exist. Frowny face, because it's going to be me looking it up later, not some jackass. Okay, cool. So what we want to do is we want to avoid, what's it called? We want to avoid callback hell, because our code will get pretty nasty pretty quick. So I'm going to write some fun little functions here. So I'm going to write a function. And then I'm going to call this one update request. And then from there, what I am going to need to do is I'm going to have, at the top row here, I'm going to have var sender ID, and then a variable called received ID, and you guys will see what I mean in a second here. So basically, what we're gonna do is we just need to do an update. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just simply gonna do var query equals, and let's see if I remember how to do an update. I haven't used PostGres in a while. Let's see. Let's see what. Let's look up a PostGres update. Postgres update table. Yep, okay, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. So I'm going to update user underscore friend requests, set status equal, and then I need that single quote, plus rec dot body dot let's see, we'll just call this one confirmation. So basically in confirmation they're either going to put a string that says confirmed or declined, right? So then basically we need to run our second query, so db.query query dot spread function, and then this one I really don't need to put parameters in, because basically if there was a successful update then I'm going to need to do 2 successful inserts, and then from there I'm going to do .catch. So basically what we're going to need to do at this time is just do function, and all I'm simply going to do is just do res.status 400 .send, and I'm going to say unable to process update to user friend requests at this time. It's basically letting our future guys know, saying, hey, we tried to do the update, but the update didn't work. Sorry, Rick. And then the next thing I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to obviously do a check. So I'm going to say if no. So hold on a second, guys, because we want to delete it if that user confirmation. So basically this is gonna be 2 queries that we need to run here. So let's just say so I'm gonna create a variable here called is confirm, so base or is accepted is gonna equal, and then this query right here that I'm gonna run is called a boolean. So I'm gonna do is rec if equals rec.body.confirmation equals confirmed. So basically, if it's confirmed, then we need to do an update query. So I'm just simply gonna put if accepted or is accepted. So I'm gonna do var query. And then essentially, if it's accepted, then we just need to do the update query. So then query is going to equal update user underscore friend underscore requests. And then from there, we're going to need to set status equal to confirmed, right? So basically, we're just going to say, yo, it's confirmed, that friend request is confirmed. So if they try to add them again in the future, it just simply will not work. Then we'll just need to run an else clause. Query is going to equal delete from, we're just going to say user underscore friend underscore requests, where, and this is the very important part, guys, ID is equal to plus rec.body.request underscore ID. So basically, if they accepted it, then we do an insert into the database. If they decline it, then essentially we just delete it off the face of the earth and it never fucking existed, which I think is a very powerful thing, guys, if you would feel inclined to agree with me. So then from that, if you guys are still watching, still paying attention, I'm just gonna pay attention to this, write my code. It's code along. I'll look at the chat periodically, guys, but I'm getting a little distracted. Okay. So then from there, I'm just going to do if is accepted then I'm going to need to do a function, or actually I'm going to need to perform inserts, which I'm going to do in a second there. Oh, actually, if is accepted. So then I'm going to need to do update request. And then basically I'm going to set the sender ID initially up here. Actually, let's do this one step at a time. Alright, so update request. I love coding, guys. It's fun. Alright, so if it's accepted, else they deleted it, I'm just going to say res.status 200.send. We have successfully deleted the request, right? Because let's say they decline it, and then a few months goes by, and they want to try to add you again, and then you decide to say, yeah, you know what, fuck it, I'll accept it, whatevs. Then what I'm going to want to do is do a res.status ID, res.status, no, hold on, it's all going to come to me. It's all in my mind. So essentially, when it is accepted, I'm going to want to do the perform inserts, which are basically the inserts into the database. So as you guys can see, this is helping us stay out of callback hell. Okay, so let's write the function. We'll just call it, since there's two, we'll do perform sender insert. And then function is going to be perform sender insert. And then from there, it's gonna get pretty intense, guys. So essentially, what I need to do, and this is gonna be hard to articulate, is basically so I don't have to write a bunch. Okay, you guys can hear me again, right? I'm back. Okay. Perfect. I am back. I should be back. Okay, I'm back. Should be back. Should be working. It's working? Okay, great. Okay, so basically what I was saying before I was interrupted is that once you update the query, if you delete it, then you can just tell the user, hey man, you deleted it and everything is fine. Or the user declined the request, right? So essentially, once you do that, if they didn't accept it, you just delete that row from the database and you're good to go. Now, if you want to update the user, now what you have to do is you have to perform 2 inserts into the PostGres database table user friends. Now, the reason for that is you want to avoid a bunch of ugly code. So what I need to do is I need for each user, both the person who accepted the ID and the one who sent the ID, I need to create 2 rows in the table. One, the sender is going to be both the user and the friend in just swapped in the roles. So I'm going to get into that right now. So the first thing I need to do is I need to get that sender ID, which is going to be result 0 dot sender underscore ID. Then I'm going to need the received ID, which is going to be result 0 dot received underscore ID, right? So now we have that data, it's parented, and I can use it into this guy right here. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is do a var query, and I'm going to set that into insert into user underscore friends. I believe let's just double, triple, quadruple check so I don't look like an asshole. I know what your next comment is. It's too late for that. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Okay. Shit, I don't like this. Okay, so I got to redo this table as well. This was my bad. So you got the user ID, the friend ID, and then the date created. So that's not an issue. I'm going to do this rather quickly, guys, if you don't mind. So I just need to perform a drop table, user underscore friends. Execute the query. Now that the table is dropped, I'm going to do create table, user underscore friends. So obviously, like anything else, it is going to need an ID, and I like to double tab. That's going to be a serial. And then from there, it is going to have a user underscore ID, which is going to be an integer, and it cannot be null. And then the friend underscore ID, and that integer is going to be not null. And then you need to have the date underscore friended, which is going to be a date, not null. And then from there, I need to set our primary key to ID. There we go. Table has been created, and everybody is A-okay. So the user who sent it is going to be the user ID, and then the person they sent it to is going to be the friend ID. And then I'm going to need to switch it. So you guys will see that in a second. So I'm going to need to insert into the database, insert into friends. It's going to be user underscore ID, friend underscore ID, and then the date underscore friended. Then we're going to need to throw in values. And the first one is simply going to be the user, the sender ID. So I'm going to put plus sender ID, comma, space, and then you're going to need to put in the received ID. And then from there, last but not least, we are going to need to enter in the date with PostGres. So basically, this is actually relatively simple. I just want to look through the documentation so you guys can see how I solve my problems. So Postgres insert date, time now. Cool. Insert into table, make date, and then we just do now, open and closing curly braces. So that makes it nice and easy. So now, perfect. And then after I do that, we just push that through. So then the next thing I'm gonna need to do, and I know this is a lot of code for one line, guys. That's why I'm breaking it into smaller functions. I'm gonna do db.query, insert that query into there, do a dot spread, and then just do a function. If it works, great. If not, I'm just gonna catch it. And the catch is the error, so our error is going to be res.status 500. And then I'm going to do .send. And this is simply going to be unable to send a friend request at this time. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so then if it does work, we need to do a flip of this. So it's gonna be the same shit, only this time, actually, I can just take all this. So it is going to be the same crap. Perform receiver insert. Except for this guy is going to go over here. And then this guy is going to go right here, right? So it's going to flip. So it's going to be 2 inserts. And then if this was performed properly, we're just going to do res.status 200.send. And I'm simply going to put the user was successfully confirmed. All right, so perfect. Oh, and of course we need to do a perform receiver insert. Okay, so basically, if this call works, we will have confirmed the user, so they'll be friends, and then we will have updated the database as well. So this is a big one, guys. So a lot of shit could have went wrong. We should have done it little chunks at a time, but fuck it, we cowboyed up. This is one endpoint. So there's a lot of shit that needed to be done, some inserts. Now we're gonna reset our server, and we're gonna give it a shot. All right, so it works, you silly goose. Okay. So now that you have this, this is going to be user request.respond. So I'm going to go into my postman, and I'm going to copy this guy. I'm going to paste it into here. And then as we saw in this guy, fingers crossed, guys. And in my humble experience, guys, it never works on the first try. Sometimes it does. So the request underscore ID is going to be 1. And then the confirmation is going to be confirmed. Right? So that's what we said it should be if this works. Yep. So yeah, let's fire. Database error. Oh wait. Duh. I didn't add respond right here. All right, now we're gonna send it. Worst case scenario, the user was successfully confirmed! Bitch! Alright, let's go through the database and see what we've got. So I'm gonna do select all from user underscore friend underscore requests. I'm gonna execute it. And it updated properly. Now I'm going to select it from friends. We're going to execute it. And would you imagine that? We have 2 friends on there. What up? All right, cool. So you got date friended. So essentially from here, you got the user ID and then everything flipped and flopped. So basically, now we're going to be able to query it and say, hey, the user has a friend. So that part is going to be awesome. Okay. So I don't want to get a little ahead of myself here, guys. So essentially, you're able to send a friend request. You're able to respond to the friend request. Now we need to do a get endpoint for the user request. So basically, I just want it to return all friend requests. So from this point on, what I want to do is I just want to wipe the databases clean. now that we know that both endpoints work. So before I do that, let's just bask in our glory. I'm gonna go get a beer. I'll be right back. You guys just kind of take in what we just did. We just wrote a shit ton of code and I got it right on the first try. So I'm gonna go get a beer, kiss my wife, and then I'll be right back, guys. So stay tuned. Let me blast up the music for you. We blast it up, bask in the code. I will be right back. Please share the video. Let's get this shit popping.
Just the race, like, and it's a race that I've created in my head, you know, but you have to step away from it.
Which you are you? Be the you.
All right, guys, we are back. And do I have some kind of psoriasis and Google is basically just continuously advertising that to me? Because that would be hilarious. Alright, cool. So the next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to create some get endpoints to where you can get the user's friends, right? But that is going to be public functionality, which anybody... Actually, negatory, because I want to give ours kind of the Gab experience to where... you know, it's not open to the public, right? So you have to sign up to see like who's in and who's friends with somebody. So next thing I'm gonna do is we'll just call these our post endpoints, and these are gonna be our get endpoints, right? So, low-hanging fruit. Let's let the user get their friends. Then after this, we're gonna punch it into the front end. So I'm gonna do router.get. I'm gonna do /get_friends. I'm gonna do function rec res. And then what I'm going to need to do is create a query equals select and then we're going to need to do a join, but for right now I just want it to be like get the user's information. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to say select all from user. Let's see. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to say select all from user underscore friends, where user underscore ID equals plus rec dot body dot user underscore ID. This is Henry's Hard Soda. It is the only beer I drink because it tastes like an orange soda, And I'm kind of a girl like that. I'll admit that. Hard alcohol that tastes bad is not, it's a no-go for me. So what I'm going to do next is do a db.query, throw in a query, do a .spread, run a function, results metadata, and then essentially I'm just going to pass back all the friends back. So if they send something wrong, that is on them. So I'm going to do res.json. Data is just going to be the result. And then if that didn't work, I'm going to do a .catch. And then from there, if it doesn't work, we'll just do a res.status 500, which is universal for you fucked up kid. .send error. What's up, big man? Or Sony fail. Did you go to school to learn how to code, or are you self-taught? I am 100% self-taught. Been coding since I was 13. Actually, I've been coding since I was fucking 7 years old when AOL was around and it was just like HTML, CSS pages, that kind of crap. But yeah, I've been teaching myself how to code since I was 7. So I've been doing this for a while. I've been doing it professionally for the past like 7 years now. So it's been a good time, wild adventure, lots of late nights. Had an opportunity to work with some really smart people, some ridiculously fucking stupid people, but I love them all just the same. Alright, cool. Hope that answers your question, Sony. And then I'm going to want to do a join on here, but for now, let's just make sure that our endpoint is working. So now I just need to reset my server. The percent on the beer is 4.2% alcohol. I work out, by the way. Okay. 4.2%, and yes, that is what's up. Coding is awesome if you do it for the right reasons. If you just jump into it thinking, I'm gonna make a lot of money, you won't make any money. You have to actually love this. You gotta be passionate about it. You gotta be passionate about who you're writing your code for. If you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna learn how to code because I want to make money, yeah, you'll fail. You'll fall flat on your fucking face. Like anything else, you gotta love it. Like, I was making a shit ton of money when I was recruiting, when I loved it. Then when I hated it, I wasn't making shit because I didn't care. I was like, fuck it, I'm done. So, it works, you silly goose. So here, / I'm gonna do get_friends. And then, oh, it is not a post endpoint, it is a query endpoint. So I'm gonna do query. So it's a query parameter that I'm gonna need to send it with. user_ID is gonna equal 3. So if I send that, it should return just 1. Oh, because I need to restart the server now. So basically, get, you can send query parameters as such, right? But you cannot send post variables, right? Send. Just a sec. Oh, did I not save it? What the fuck is wrong with me, guys? I love the song. All right, cool. And as you guys can see, we have the friend ID. So we know we can get those friends back. Obviously, when we're going to want to make this more engaging on the site, we're going to include the user's data and whatnot. But for now, it should be fine. All right, so you got the date they were friended, the friend ID, and then we'll use that to like pull that user's data on the platter. But for now, that's what we give the user. So they can get their friends. Now we need to get their friend requests. So router.get /get_friend_requests. All right, we're gonna do a function res. And then from there, what I'm going to want to do is I'm just going to say run our query is going to equal select all from user_friend_requests where received _ID equals, I believe that's what we called it, right? I think so. Let's see. Yeah, it's the received ID. There it is, right there. Equals plus rec dot query dot user_ID. So basically, we're going to send them all the user requests, and we're going to send them all the data and attached to it. And then we know what the front end is going to have to send us back in order to make those engaging experiences, right? And then from there, just db.query .spread function let's see, result meta data. And then from here, you guys know the drill. Res.json is going to be data result dot catch pass in a function. Now if that's not wrong, res dot status. I love this song so much. Dot send. Unable to get friend requests at this time. Okay. Oh, and then I'm also going to make sure that we only receive the pending ones. Plus, and status equals pending. So basically, it's only going to return pending friend requests at this time. Alright, so it's all good. So basically, it should return all the friend requests. So first off, let's just wipe our database to make sure that this works. So I'm just going to say delete from user friends. Cool, so now that user friends is done, I just want to do update user_friend_requests set status equal to pending. Then once that's done, I'm gonna do pending and confirmed, because if it's confirmed, you're good. And you can't bombard somebody with another request. However, yeah, you cannot bombard them with continuous requests. There's confirmed, and then let's say if they decline it, we just delete that row of data from the database. And then what I want to do is just say select all from user friend requests, and we're back to pending. So this endpoint should work, and we need to give it the update the received ID parameter of 4. So should be fine. Should be fine, folks. So we got the node server. Which is just silly goose. Alright, so now that works, instead of get friends, I'm gonna say get friend underscore requests. Send. Boom, there you go. See that? Now our user can see who they are friends with, and who they are sending requests from. All right, now another thing is we need to make sure the user is who they say they are. So if you guys remember, we have that user token, the header token. So I'm gonna close this out, open it back up, and now it's all closed on us. So now what I want to do before we implement the front end is I want to actually make the user have to use the token that we created for them. So I'm gonna have var JWT equals JSON or require. This one's gonna be JSON web token. And now, before anything goes through to the user, I'm gonna do router.use. I'm gonna pass in a function, and this is going to run every time. So we're gonna have rec res next, which is the callback. So this is where we need to verify said token. We need to make sure that that user is who they say they are. So now what I'm gonna want to do is I'm simply going to set var token equals rec dot headers. Is it headers or header? Let me look. I do this shit all the time. Rec.header Node.js. Oh, it's headers. Rec.headers. And then I'm just gonna make them pass in an auth token, right? So I want it in the header. I'm not gonna let them pass it anywhere else. Then what I'm gonna want to do is I'm gonna do jwt.verify. I'm gonna look at the code. All right, perfect. So from here, what I'm gonna have in our verify section is I need to have our token. our process variable, which is this guy right here, our secret token, which our secret token is subscribe to TechWarriorz on YouTube. Alright. And then I'm going to have function, which is error, comma, decoded. Okay, so I don't want that. Okay, so basically from here, what I'm gonna want to do is I'm essentially just gonna say, I just want to say if error, meaning that, hey, this guy did not pass us that token. Cheers, guys. Alright, so basically, if error, I just want to do res.status 400 dot status or dot send, and this is essentially just going to say the token is invalid. Yep. So the token is invalid, right? And then I like to do else because I'm a developer, and that's what I do. Then within our else clause, I'm just going to run next, which basically just runs things the way it's supposed to run. And I'll put decoded.id, which I think that's what our user is, so console.log. I just want to put in decoded.id because I set all that data, and I just want to see if it actually pushes through. And then if that decoded data pushes through, then I'll allow that user to update, because I don't want to pass in the user ID parameter as a parameter. I want to pass in that token, and then with that token I'll see what their ID is, and then I'll take that information and I'll use it from there, if that makes sense. Alright, cool. So from here, let's see. So let's see. So I got the login, which is test12. Test. Select all from users where username is undefined or email is undefined. What? Node server. Okay, so now that's breaking. I wonder why. API/user/login. Alright, so we broke, by fixing one piece of our code, we broke another, which is fine. Oh, because it's just form data, not... Oh god, I do this every fucking time. Alright, so I got my login name. So I had it on form data, not this guy. Alright, so now when we send it, cool. Now we have a token, which we log in. So now that puts us at ID is gonna equal 5. Or actually, that's user data. So what I wanna do is I actually wanna go back in, and I have a feeling this is gonna cause like a nesting issue. So I'm gonna put decoded.user_data. Actually, when a user logs in, what does it do? So I log in. Oh wait, no, that's fine. I know, right? So essentially, that's what we're doing now. It's gonna be fine. We just have to, once we do this, we just have to update our endpoints, and then I'll probably skip out on the front end tonight, guys, but we'll implement the front end tomorrow, right? Actually, my wife's asleep on the couch. I can probably do the front end real quick, but it's not gonna be pretty. It's just gonna be quick. All right. So we run our node server. I'm gonna hit send. Boom, we get a token. We get a cookie, we get a token. So I'm gonna copy this. All right, so now let's say we get our friend request. I'm gonna have a header called auth token. I'm gonna paste in that value, right? So now when I hit send, boom, we have the user ID, which is 5. Hell yeah, guys. Woo! Angular 1.6. I don't use 2. 2 is a piece of shit. I use React though. React is like a better version of Angular 2.0. Okay, so now I'm gonna do rec.status. I'm gonna do rec.user, or when this happens, I'll do rec.user ID is gonna equal decoded.id. Okay? So boom, that right there means that we are secure. So now no one can fuck with anyone's data without a user's particular token. So I like that. So we're at get friend requests. All right, cool. So we're gonna start with get friend requests. I'm gonna want to console.log. And I'm essentially just going to put, this is the user's ID. And I'm going to do comma, actually plus rec.user_ID. Alright, perfect. So now let's just refresh this. And I'm going to send that again. Boom! So we pass it into the rec. So that part is awesome. So now that it's available in the user ID, yeah, it's on YouTube. I just play it. I found it to give credit where credit is due. It's titled Best Songs for Playing League of Legends #6. Okay, so as you guys can see here. Okay, so now I'm not gonna need to pass in the user ID. I need to pass in a token. So tokens are gonna be my best goddamn friend at this point in time. Okay, so now that we have a token, instead of, I'm not gonna allow this as a query parameter anymore. I'm gonna say it is rec.user_ID. And now it's not gonna return any friend requests, but that's gonna be okay. Get friends. Now it's just gonna be rec.user_ID. Okay, cool. Now okay, so this one they won't get anyways. We can actually leave all this the same. These two can stay the same. Yeah. This part can stay the same. Or actually, request friend. You know what? We're just gonna have it as insert into friend request. Yeah, so from here, I'm gonna have user_ID. And then this is gonna be user_ID. So basically you'll send it, but you still need your token to do anything. This part we'll give it a pass, but for this one, basically what we're doing is we're getting the ID from our token, and then with that token, that's what's gonna dictate the data. So we're gonna keep it more secure, so to speak. We're gonna keep everything much more secure that way. Okay, cool. So yeah, I think what we do from this point is we just test it out. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna restart the database. So it's gonna be on friend request. So let's send a friend request. So I need the auth token over here to request friend, and the sender ID no longer matters. So I can actually just clip that whole fucking thing off. It doesn't matter anymore. In our headers, I can have the auth token is gonna equal this guy. And let me just triple check that I had this going. So node server. So it works, yeah, Philly goose. Alright. So yeah, so all it needs now is a received ID, and if I send friend request successfully sent, so select all from friend request, we should see one that's 5.4. Yep. So that works, and the cool part is we no longer have to expose the user ID as a parameter. So anybody trying to hack the site, it'll slow them down a little bit. So at least it's a more secure solution. Okay, so then that is number 2. So essentially, we'll do an auth token, and I'm gonna paste that auth token inside. And we're still gonna need the auth token to bypass it. So now I'm gonna hit number 2. I'm gonna send it. Okay, the user was successfully added. So let me run through that again. Okay, cool. So now that one is confirmed. So they're both confirmed. Why are they both confirmed? What? User friend request. Alright, let's just see user friends. Cool, you got 5454. Oh, I see a huge flaw. I need to set a where clause on this bitch. Yep, okay, so it set all of them to confirmed. I need it to set one to confirmed. So I'm gonna put where, and then I'll put ID equals plus, I need to update our update query, rec.body.request_ID. So essentially, the API layer is ready for our users for the most part. Okay, cool. Select all from user friend request. Okay, perfect. So we figured out one bug, and that's good because it's not going to be catastrophic, and it's always easier when it's just it's just 2 rows in a database, because that's easy. Update user friend request set pending or set status equal to pending, where ID is equal to 1, right? So I'm gonna hit that, and then past queries we can just do select all from user friend requests. As you guys can see, oh yeah, oh, okay, it works. Whew, whew. That's on me. I thought I was like, what did I do? What did I do? We set the right one correctly. Let's just test out the rest of our endpoints, make sure those are working. So if I get our friend request, there's nothing because we already approved it. So that's kind of a fuck up on my part. So, but if I do get friends and I get rid of this ID and I just want to send that, then as you guys can see, we get all of our friends, and all we do is we pass in a token now than the other one. But let's say we don't have this token, like it doesn't exist. I send it. Token is invalid. They cannot see any data on the site. And my friends, that is a beautiful fucking thing. So at the very least, they have to be goddamn logged in to see anything. Okay. So we have all that. No, I don't want to save any of that. Okay, last thing I want to do is I just want to get all of the friends. So I just want to get everybody so that we can just send a mass quantity of friend requests, right? So before we get to that, I'm gonna X out of this, jump back in. So then what I want to do is I just want to do router.get, and I'm just gonna do find. I'll show you where I'm using Bcrypt. I am using Bcrypt. Right here. So basically, when we create the user, the password creates a hash that's basically generated based off of a salt that we do. And then we pull everything from the database, compare the passwords, and if it's no bueno, we clip it. And it no longer works. So that's what I like about hashes. It at least stops. You can't just throw a fucking dictionary at it, which will slow down people from breaking your shit. So anytime that happens, I'm totally good. Find users. Right, so actually get okay, so I'm gonna do get users by quantity. is going to be a function rec res. All right, where does not equals PostgreSQL not equal comparison operators. All right, cool. Well, we can do a not equal sign, so that's gonna make things much easier because all I want to do is basically say, yo, get me a list of users. So I want to do var query is gonna equal select. I'm gonna say ID. I want to get the ID. What I put for the users. What I want from the users. I would just want probably their username, first name, last name. Fuck it, we'll get it. So what I want from the user is I want their ID, username, first underscore name, last underscore name. From users where ID does not equal and then from there I'm going to say plus rec dot user underscore ID. Alright, after I get this done, guys, we'll probably have to get back to this tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll do another stream a little earlier in the day so more people can enjoy it. But we have the API done for the user side, so that'll be good. Then what I want to do is I want to do db.query and I'm going to do .spread function result metadata. I'm going to do .catch function. If the error happens, you all know the drill by now. I'm just going to do res.status. Fuck me. 500. Send. Unable to query DB at this time. Okay, and then from there, I'm just going to do res.json. And then from there, I'm just simply going to do data is going to pass back the result. So basically, whatever it sends, have fun, go nuts. It's just going to send you any user who just quite simply isn't you. All right, cool. So now I'm going to go here to our Postgres. I'm going to say it's I got my headers. User respond, and then from there I'm just going to say get users by quantity. Well, we haven't really given the users the numbers.
I hate 10 shots.
I do more front end. Actually, it's I do 80%. I do 70% back end, 30% front end. But you know, I enjoy them both equally. All right, so I'm gonna copy this. Then in my headers, I'm just gonna put auth token. Get user by quantity. Send. Oh, need to restart the database. right, send. Get users by quantity, send. Oh shit, what the fuck happened? You got 311, it didn't, that's interesting. Oh, you guys see that? It gave me a hash map and it didn't actually break it down. Huh, that's interesting. But anyways, at least we have the data. I'm gonna go into breaking this down in a second. That's so weird. Select, what if I got rid of these guys? I think this is one of those caveats. But anyways, tomorrow we'll do the front end work and we'll make this shit happen. I just can't write any more code right now. Oh, there we go. Yep. So the parenthesis fucked it up. And you know what? I will write the front end code. You guys just give me a moment. Let me go see my wife real quick. I'll be back in 2 minutes. So you guys just enjoy the music, take a look at the code. We're gonna implement the front end when I get back. Stay tuned, folks. Alright guys, my wife is passed the fuck out on the couch, so that's not a bad thing. So basically we have all these users who have been inserted, but they have not been added yet, so that's pretty cool. Test 12 is number 5, so that's basically what we're running on. But I know RoboRick's password is test, so we can explore some stuff right now. We have the endpoints needed, so we wrote 5 tonight. Yes, I'm gonna write some front ends. I know. Hey, Sony fail, this is what you need, in my opinion. You need to know how this bullshit works to truly be a good front end engineer. You need to realize that endpoints aren't just this magical fucking forest that gives you the data you need, and that you actually have to fucking do a lot of work on the back end just to get that little bit of beauty on the front end. Give me 1 moment, I just need to shut my door, and then I'll do the Angular side of this. If you guys have not done so already, please like and share this video everywhere. Every share counts, and it helps out a lot. Thank you guys so much. Alright, so if you guys remember, now we're on front-end coding mode, so I'm just going to leave this up for fun. Whoop. You guys don't need to see that. Next, what I want to do is I just want to open up localhost 3000. Cool, so now we can log in, we can share, we can do all that crap. Where we left off was, I believe when you logged in, it just simply gave you a token. What we want to do is we want to actually have the user log in. Let's see. So yeah, so basically we got a home page. Now what I want to do is have a .main site. Because you gotta log in order to see this shit. So I'm gonna do / main template URL / client / components / main /main.html. So basically I need to create an HTML template. The next thing I need to do is create a controller, which is going to be the main controller. So now on my components page, I create a new folder, call it main. New file, this is going to be main.html. And then from here, I'm just going to have it as a div. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this is the page that will change all pages. This is the page that will change all pages. New folder. I'm going to call this one main controller.js. Keep in mind, folks, we are in Angular writing mode now. So I'm going to wrap this in an anonymous function, window Angular undefined. And when it calls this function, it's going to be window.angular. And then from here, what I'm going to need to do is simply say angular.module. And I'm just simply going to call this app.controller. This one's going to be main CTRLs, standing for main controller. We have an array, which I need to call my dependencies, which one is going to be called scope. The next one is going to be called state, and the other is going to be called HTTP, comma function. And then from here, I need to write out my dependencies again, so it's going to be scope, state, HTTP. And that should be good. Now all I need to do is open up my index.html file, and I need to list this as a controller. So I'm going to do script source equals client components main controller.js. And instead of having sections, or instead of having different pages, I'm just going to throw it all into one big section page. That way you can go in and out for right now. So essentially, what do we have to grab? Well, first thing is I'm going to need to create a shared folder, and this is going to store our user data. So I'm going to create a new file called services. And in services, you guys know the drill. All right, Vincent, I hope you enjoyed, man. Oh, wait. All right, Vincent, see you later, buddy. All right, in services, I'm going to delete that. New folder, services. New file, I'm going to call this one user service.js. Alright, man, you take it easy, buddy. Oh shit, man. Yeah, get home, drive safe, alright, Vincent? Hope you have a good one, man. Drive home safe. Alright, last step is just going to be a function. Window, Angular, undefined. window.angular. Then from here, I'm going to do angular.module app. And then on app, I'm going to do .controller. .controller, oh wait, no. It's going to be .service. Takes no dependencies, or no. Service, this one is going to be the user service. Then I'm going to pass in an array. Alright, cool. So here we are good to go. I'm going to do var VM, I'm going to set it equal to this. I'm going to set vm.token equal to undefined. And then I'm going to set vm.user is going to be equal to undefined as well. Alright, so once a user successfully logs in, we need to update this data. And then we're going to send them to the main page. Okay? And then when this runs, what I'm essentially gonna want to, you know what, we'll get into that in a second, because what I'm thinking is, okay, if a user is just logged in for the first time, we should probably store their token into local storage. Yeah, we'll store their token into local storage too. And then I'm going to do var cached token is going to equal local storage dot get item. I'm going to call this token. And I'm going to say if cached token, so that's basically like, yo, if this actually exists, then I'm going to set vm.token equal to json.parse cached token. Then if a user decides to log out, then it won't work. And then if they try to use this token again, then it just simply will not work. Right, so essentially what I'm going to want to do is I'm simply going to say, refresh this. More tools, development tools. Oh, I know exactly what happened. It's not controllers, it's just controller. Refresh this. Let's see if it's scope state. That should be fine. Alright, so with Angular, sometimes you just want to take a look and see, hey, what the hell is going on? State provider.state .main is not a function. Oh yeah, so I probably yeah. No shit. Alright, so that part is fixed. Alright, perfect. So we have all of that fun data. So essentially now what I need to do is I need to tie in these services to make sure that they run before my controllers load up. So now I'm going to have services. I'm going to do script source is going to equal /client /components /shared /services /user service.js. Okay, perfect. Next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm gonna go back into our home controller. And notice this user ID. So first things first, I need to punch in state as a dependency. Okay, and then from there, what I'm gonna want to do is nope. Let me actually log into the app and let's see what it's being returned as. So I believe with Postman, if I'm losing you guys, please let me know. It's test 12 and then test is the password. Log me in. Cool. User is logged in. And then basically I just need to set the user service data with that info. So this is easy, just user service, comma, user service. And then essentially from there, let's see what's going on in the chat room. Checking my Facebook real quick, guys. I started a nice little discussion on how California would implode if it seceded from the United States of America, and I think I stand true by that. I just think it would be the most massive fucking cluster of fuck ever. That's here nor there. Okay, cool. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set user service.token, and I'm going to set that equal to response.data.token. And then I'm going to do user service.user, and I'm going to set that equal to response.data.user data. Just in case we need it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do local storage dot set item, and that is going to I need to set the first parameter as token, and then the next parameter as json.stringify user service dot token. And then I'm also going to want to set our user data to local storage.set item. I'll just set it as user. I'm just going to do json.stringify. And the reason why I'm doing this, guys, is because let's say a user refreshes the page. I don't want them to have to continuously log in or ping our server just because I'm an asshole. User service.user is just fine at that point once it's set. And then what I want to do is just do state.go, and we're just going to send them to the main site once they have logged in. And that should be good. So I do main controller. I'm then going to punch in our user service as a dependency. And then we'll do user service again. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have var token is going to equal user. Actually, no, you don't need user you don't need to show the token, but you do need the user data. User data equals user service.user. Right, so now we should have the user down. And once we have it, I just want to console.log user service.token. Alright, and then one would only assume that if the token was cached, the user would be cached also. So I'm just going to set that equal to json.parse. We'll start var cached user, and I'm going to set that equal to local storage get item user. There we go. All right, perfect. So now that all that is together, I'm just gonna. So basically, whenever this loads, we'll have that cached, so it'll fucking fire. And it's not just no, it's JSON actually. And now when I refresh the page, this all should work. Let me make one more check real quick. User, yep. User, we should be good. Alright, test 12, test, log me in. Alright, we're logged in, and we clearly have a token, and that token is awesome. Okay, so now, to end off the night, guys, now that we have all the data, interacting with the backend, I just want to make one call to get the friends, and then we'll implement the friend. We'll do tomorrow 100% on front-end development with the data that we have available to us. So all I want to do is I just want to do AngularJS 1 HTTP custom headers. Let's see, config headers. I took what you had and added another X testing header. App.config providers, so you can only tap into a provider. If you want to add custom header to all requests, you can change the defaults on HTTP. This seems like the better option right here. So this is what we want to do for our HTTP. So basically, we're going to end the night by just doing a simple AJAX call. So I'm going to do HTTP method is going to be a get. The URL is going to be /secure -API, I believe it was called. See, server.js /user. There we go. Ah, fuck me. Okay, so yeah. Once this page loads up, I just want us to get the users. And then let's just get some friends and throw them on the page, just so we can say we did something on the front end. But I believe we got a lot done today, guys. So when the main page loads, we're just gonna send the guy. We're just gonna get the guy some friends, and then I just want headers to be. I'm gonna call one of them off token. And I'm going to send it user service.token. Beautiful. Then from there, I'm going to do a .then. We'll do function response. And I just want a console.log response. If there is an error, I'm going to pass in another function. Error. And I'm just going to console.error. right? So tomorrow's gonna be way more engaging, way more fun because it's gonna be all front end, but you need to do the back end stuff as well. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna refresh the page. And it should be good. Oh wait. It is good. Yeah. So there you go, guys. Clearly our service works. We log in. If we just go back here and we do test 12 and then test. Log me in, Chief. As you guys can see, it gets us to the page. And it gets us our friend's data. So with that, we can start to build the front end tomorrow. So tonight, in 2 hours' time, we built out the friend request system. We built out the friend system. We broke down our login mechanism. We did some stuff with PostGres. We did some stuff with Node. We did some stuff with Angular. Overall, I feel it was a productive night for our pseudo project, and you guys should be very thrilled with your work. I said this last night, but I mean it. Tomorrow, I'm gonna throw the code on GitHub, and then you guys can be able to really see. I know this wasn't normal, and it's because I've got so much going on right now, but guys, if you really want to get good at this shit, you gotta like take my code and fucking break it. Now I know you want to follow along with me, which is great. Watching it is one thing, doing it with me is even better, but the best is to take my code and be like, well, fuck you, Rick. What if I wanted to add email authorization to make sure that they actually punched an actual email address in? Or what if I want to also store the person's hair color or some shit? Then fucking do it. Do whatever you guys want. Don't wait for me to give you the answers. Go out and fucking code. That's how you do it. But anyways, guys, I'm happy with what we built today. Tomorrow is going to be a front-end heavy day, so be ready to write some Angular. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Vincent, Sony Fail, Dojo, and everybody else who showed up to the stream tonight. I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much. This is Robo Rick signing out. So you guys have a great rest of your evening, and I will talk to you soon. All right, guys. See ya. Bye.